Hello, everyone. Hello, and welcome. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, or good night, depending on where you're joining us from. I'm so sorry. I apologize for starting late. We had a bit of a technical glitch, but I'm happy that we are live now. Um, Before we get started, I would really appreciate if you could take some time to share the link, especially for LinkedIn, because we were to err on LinkedIn on a different link, but we had some technical glitches and we had to err using a different link. So please help me share out the link to your contact. Tell them that we are live. Everybody who was here before, please tell them that we are live. We have started. We are ready to go. So I'm going to just do 1 minute while we do that, and then we come back to the event. I don't know, we're not going to be here for too long. Our time is it's moving very fast, but I do appreciate you for sticking with us, and thank you for coming and showing up with us every other day. So take 1 minute. This is 5:13 p.m. on my time. Just take 1 minute. Let's do 5:14, and we'll get started with our event today. Thank you for showing up. Thank you so much. I can see all of you coming up. I can see your comments coming in. Thank you very much. I appreciate. Tell me where you're coming from. I want to see an introduction of yourself. Tell me where you're joining us from. If you're on YouTube, say YouTube. If you're on LinkedIn, say you're joining us from LinkedIn. If you came from X, tell us that you came from X. I would like to know. Tell me your name. Tell me what country you're joining us from. I want to see your comment. Okay, so while that is going on, please keep sharing, because I know that many people would be waiting on the other link, but we did not get that out. So please help me, please forgive me. I had a very huge technical glitch, and I'm glad that we have sorted it now. So please join in. I want to see your comment where you're joining us from. I was going to say calling us from, but I want to see where you're joining us from. I want to see what city, what country, and all of that. So put all of that in the comments. I will be reading as soon as I see it pop up on my screen. I will be letting you know, and I will be acknowledging you right on stage. So it's 15 minutes past the hour of 5 p.m. in West African time, and we are slated today to have a session on how to position. I'm excited. I am Elizabeth Ekenimo. You call me Lady B. I'm the founder of BAMS Academy. I'm a business analyst, coach, and trainer. I'm the lead trainer at BAMS Academy and the founder and the coach as well. So it is my duty, it's my passion to see entry-level business analysts, young fresh coppers, stay-at-home moms, retirees, customer service executives, residents, coppers, fresh graduates. It is my duty, it is my passion to see that the more you come on board looking for what to do with your time, that you are position yourself in a space that will not fade out, at least not very quickly, which is something which is tech, and that's a field I'm passionate about. Ever since I found this juice in tech, it has been my go-to, and I'm loving it here, and I'm always encouraging everybody. And learn tech skill. It is something that I really like to hear people say, "Oh, I'm a techie. I'm a digital nomad. I don't have to follow the traditional way of doing things, but I can make money from the comfort of my home because I've got the skills." And last week we talked about how you can transition your skills from every other roles, particularly sales, fresh graduates, virtual assistants, customer service. I know that we talked about how you can transition all of these sets into becoming a no-code techie in business analysis. And if you missed that, you might want to watch a recap. It's on YouTube. I'll drop the link in the description box for this one so that you find it. Hello, Praise from Abuja. I can see you. Hello, Host for Fortuna. Thank you for joining us, Rita Monday Fuja. I'm happy to have you on board. Thank you, Halel from Abuja, and then there's me again. So very quickly, why I have introduced to this topic, positioning yourself to land your first business analysis job. Before I go ahead, I will be taking an invited speaker to tell us about her journey into business analysis. And she's Florence Onwumere. She is a programs manager and a business analyst, and she recently transitioned into business analysis. Florence, thank you for joining at BAMS Academy's weekly event today. If you're here, please say hello to the audience, and then the floor is yours. Talk to us about how you got into business analysis and how it's been for you thus far. Um, Florence, I cannot hear you. There seems to be a glitch. Is this me? I cannot hear Florence speaking. Florence, I see you're speaking. Florence, we cannot hear you. Do you want to check your sound and then come back? Come back in. Let me know when you're ready and we'll bring you back in. So while Florence is checking her device and sorting out that particular issue, I don't know what seems to be happening today, but I take control in the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. Okay, while Florence is sorting herself out, one thing that I would like for us to touch on is, I'm not doing this by myself, by the way. So I forget I have Halloween, who is the only business analyst you know. Halloween is an IT business analyst, and he'll be joining us today as well. Halloween and I will be having a conversation that we aim to encourage astute and entry level business analysts. I'll just hi to our audience if you can hear.
Hi, can you hear
Yeah,
me?
we can hear you. Beautiful.
Just can you confirm you can hear me, Lady?
Yes, I can. Hello.
Hi, everyone. My name is Halorine, and Elizabeth has introduced me appropriately. Thank you for having me. So we're here to do things the BAMS way. So I look forward to that. Hopefully, Florence's network will get back on and she'll be able to speak because
Okay, let me
it would be really nice to hear her
quickly
speak
check in with
first.
her.
Oh, I think she's back.
Let me quickly check in. Hi, Florence. Are you good? Mm, okay, I cannot.
I think she's still having issues.
Yes, for some reason I can't see her video or hear her. Okay, Florence, so let us know when you're ready to come on board, and then we will have you. We like to start. We like to always have someone else besides us come share their experience, especially people who have transitioned to business analysis very recently. We want to
Exactly.
always hear their
Yeah.
journey, how they got started, what intrigued them to go into business analysis. I don't know what's happening with Florence, but once we can get her to speak, and if we cannot bring her up this week, we'll have an issue that. Okay, so while we go into it, I want to first, by introduction, remind us that business analysis and the tech field generally is a very dynamic and challenging space to be in. So you want to ensure that you have not just learned things that you are required to learn. Maybe you've taken a training somewhere. Maybe you have gotten a job as a business analyst, and you're not sure how to navigate the waters, or you just finished your training, just finished an internship, or you're done volunteering. But what's next for you? That's what we're talking about today. In order for you to succeed, you don't just need to have the right skills. You also need to have them in the right places. You have to position your skill set in a way that you can compete favorably in the job market today. And this is irrespective of where you're joining us from. These skills will speak to you across board, across the globe. Okay, so it's Florence is ready to come on. I'm just gonna try one more time. Are you here now? Okay, still cannot hear and cannot see you. So we're just going to go ahead.
Network. Hello, can you hear me? I'm having
That
terrible
I think
network.
that's fine. Uh,
B.
Okay, we're just going to go ahead. If we cannot have her today, we'll have her next week. But all the same, we are still to hear what Florence has to say. So today we want to touch on four very important points that we have found that has worked for me, and I will say it has worked for him as well, because I know that my own
yeah.
business analysis journey started a startup. I was given the opportunity if I got the chance to get trained. But when I was moving forward, I remember that I was searching for internships. As much as unpaid internships, I applied. I just wanted to learn in a place where like a senior BA and somebody who was experienced and can learn. But it was difficult to land my first business analysis job. But there are four things that I took note of, which has helped me position myself, and that's what myself and Hannah will be talking about today. So we're going to speak about why you need to know yourself. We're going to tell you how to build a compelling portfolio as a business analyst. We're going to talk to you about how to position your CV, because we all know that your CV is the first thing, the one that takes you to the door, while every other thing that follows after your CV. Your CV takes you to get the interview, you prove yourself from the point of the interview, and on like that. Then we're also to talk to you. We're also going to talk to you about how to position yourself on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a now space, and it is no longer news that LinkedIn is one of the places where you can find your job, where you can get headhunted. And LinkedIn has transitioned from being the appropriate coat and tie sort of setting. It's friendly, not a little, it's a lot more friendly, and people are maximizing it to build relationships. And people are being headhunted from LinkedIn. We're also going to talk to you about how you can job search, how you can find jobs that match your market, and how you can apply for those jobs. So, do you want to talk to us about why we need to position ourselves as business analysts? What's the idea for positioning in the first place?
All right. Thank you so much, Lady V. You've said a lot, and the first thing I'm going to say is, coming from a communications background, it's pertinent to note that personal branding is very critical for every career space. Wherever career you find yourself, if you're on this call and you're not a business analyst, or you're a techie or a no-code techie, wherever category you find yourself, personal branding is very important. Trust me, it's very important. So it's not just for business analysts only, or for no-code techies, data analysts, or project managers or product managers. No, it's not just for those sets of people, it's for everyone. So it's very important that you understand personal branding if you're just transitioning into business analysis. Why is this important? It's important because business analysis is burgeoning, especially IT business analysis. It's not an area or a field that everyone is used to, or every industry is used to. It's an industry that is still coming up, is on the rise, and people are still trying to understand the role that IT business analysts, or business analysts in general, play. Right, so it's very important as a business analyst that you learn how to position yourself. So positioning yourself means learning how to communicate the value that you offer. Yeah, learning how to communicate the value that you offer, learning how to put yourself in the center of the conversations that matter around your field. So that's how you do it. And another way you can build a personal brand is by lending your voice to the communications, or the conversations rather, that go on within that industry. So if you're a business analyst, you can choose to say, oh, I want to focus on finance, I want to focus on fintech, I want to focus on beauty, I want to focus on health, regardless of any industry you want to focus on. But as a business analyst, you must learn to lend your voice. By the time you begin to lend your voice to systems and process optimizations and things, narratives around business analysis, you begin to brand yourself as an authority that should be recognized. Right? So the need to position yourself is very critical, not just in landing a job, but in being a thought leader. That's just it. That's the simple answer to this question. It's not just in landing a job, but it's in being a thought leader, right? I've heard a couple of people talk about being head hunted, right? And if you don't know what headhunting means, it means you're just on your own, sitting on your own query, and then someone just comes and says, "Oh, I like what you're doing, and I'd like you to come work for us." Right? That's what we call headhunting, right? So, what makes people step into that realm of headhunting is not having a perfect CV, is having a perfect brand. That's just it. Why they will look at two business analysts and or look at two no-code techies and choose one to come and be a speaker at an event is because of personal branding. Why you be the one who is sent to go and attend meetings on behalf of the organization is not because you're the best at what you do, it's because you are good at personal branding. So this is why positioning is very important. This is why, as a no-code techie, when I say no-code techie, please just understand that I'm actually summarizing project management, product management, business analysis, data analysis, and the rest. Right. So it's not just fixed to just business analysis, because they and I are business analysts. So don't blame us for blowing our trumpet so loud. But my point is, personal branding is very, very, very critical. So it's something that you need to take into consideration if you're just transitioning into no code tech. I think that'll be it for. Okay, another thing I'd like to highlight is common mistakes, right? Mistakes that no code techies make is in thinking that, oh, because I have a a certificate now, that is the license for you to give me a job. Newsflash: those that didn't have certificates have been taking your job before you came on the scene. So don't think that just because you have a certification, that is your license to knock down doors. No, you're only going to be seen when you put yourself out there. So learn to put yourself out there. Don't make that mistake. Don't just do that. So I think that'll be all from me, Lady B. Um, yeah, over to you.
Thank you very much, Halel. Thank you. I think Florence is set to come in now.
Oh,
Let's take her
amazing.
testimonial before we move on. Oh, network. She says she's having network issues, so that's probably not her. But thank you
All
for
right.
those points, Halel. It was nice to hear that. I agree with you when you say that you think you have a certification or a certificate, so it's okay for you to just be like and
It's not
complacent.
good.
No, it's not.
Not.
It's not. Otherwise, you're going to know what you're just going
Not.
to end in the four walls of your house.
Yeah.
If it
Yeah. Head.
if it doesn't go beyond your if it goes beyond your bedroom, I meant to say, but you have to do certain things that should help you stand out. So, first thing I want to talk about portfolio. Being a portfolio, when you have learned
Exactly.
business analysis, it's very not just business analysis. Okay, any skill you need to work around projects. You need to work around virtual projects, and there are spaces where you can get virtual projects, such as Forage. And I know because I've worked with Forage, FORAGE, and there are lots of real life scenario questions that play out there. So all they want to check for is you take the question, assume the person there, of the business analyst, assume the role of the project manager, assume the role of the product manager, whatever it is that you're testing you're checking yourself out for, or whatever skill you're trying to sharpen out, and then you take on and you build on it. Nobody's going to particularly mark your so because there's no right or wrong way to do it. There's no right or wrong answer. So it's just you assessing yourself. Which is why again I always advocate for having a mentor. When you have a mentor, you can tell them, hey, I'm working on this case study, I'm working on this project, this is what I have done. Do you want to take a look at it and see how you can point me in the right direction? This is because when you consult someone who has better knowledge, the person is able to tell you, okay, hey, if you're working on an ERP project, these are things you should take note of. You want to identify who your stakeholders are. This is how you should go about identifying your stakeholders. Okay, so I'm answering the question of why building a portfolio is important for aspiring artisan business analysts, and I'll go further to say building a portfolio is one very key way to showcase your skill set. A portfolio is a combination of all the projects you have worked on, put in one space. And I've heard people say they build their portfolio from LinkedIn. I've heard people use the Medium. I've heard people use Main Stack. You could build an entire website to showcase your portfolio and stuff that you have done. But when you are starting out and you have tested your hands, you've probably interned or you have volunteered, you have tested out, you have tried out your knowledge on real life projects. You want to put that forward to tell someone, hey, here is a tangible of my capabilities and not just a list of responsibilities that your CV documents. You hear people say, and we get to see CVs in a bit. You hear people say, tailor your CV to the job you're applying for, tailor your CV to the job and a lot of tweaking goes into the CV. But when I see your portfolio, I see that all of the skills that you have on your CV, I've seen you put it into real life projects. I'm able to read how you identify your stakeholders. I'm able to read how you identify what the process should look like, how you identify the current problem, how you wrote the problem statement. I'm able to see how you went through the process flow, how you process map. I'm able to see how you took us from as is to be. I'm able to see all of it. Even if you have errors in some places, I'm not expecting that at entry level you're going to have it perfect. I'm seeing that, okay, you have made the effort. You have put in efforts to show what you should do, what it should look like, and that counts for something. So if you don't have years of experience in a particular field, you're switching from one field to another, or maybe you're a fresh graduate and you're looking for how to get started. You want a portfolio, you want to work on a plethora of projects. You can leverage AI to get you real life projects. You can use virtual platforms to research it. The internet is free. Google is free. Just Google it. Virtual internships, virtual real life projects I could work on. If you're a data analyst, there are places you can pull out data from, download them, clean them, visualize, make sense of it. So you can do all of those things and then put them together in a space. It could be a Google Drive, depending on what you're showing. You can use other software platforms. If you're a designer, you can use Behance. If you're a BA or product manager or project manager, you can use Medium. You tailor it even on LinkedIn, and then you show yourself. So your portfolio gives you the chance to show and do something, prove yourself, even with limited hands-on experiences. Now, there's certain key elements that your portfolio should have, and a compelling portfolio should have a mix of all of these elements. Right? It's not cast in stone. So key elements like case studies, it should include a detail of what you have worked on, a detailed down of what you have worked on, even if you're new to the field. This is what I did. This is how I started. This was the problem I found. This is why I went on this project. These are the steps through which I took to ensure that we went from point A to point B. We went from state to heaven state. You also want to have artifacts. And artifacts are actual documents that you've created. It could be your requirement document. It could be process flows. It could be just stories. It could be your wireframes. It could be your design mockups, your prototypes, whatever it is. But show that, not just write out the process, okay? Show workings. Show that, oh, what I do. Like, so when I worked on Jira, this is my Jira board. This is what it looked like. And documented on Confluence, what it looked like. So you want to put out those things where people can say, okay, this person understands how to use this tool or this technique to solve this problem. You then want to list out your skills and the tools that you use. So if you used Jira, if you used Visio, if you made use of Canva, if you made use of Photoshop, if you made use of Medium, tell us. Your portfolio should show that. So your portfolio should show your case studies, your portfolio should show your artifacts, your portfolio should show the skills you use, and then the outcome. So don't just show us, oh, I did this and I did that and I used this tool. Then what happened? Tell us what the problem is, what the pain point was. Tell us how you solved it. Tell us what the result was. Did it make someone's life better? How, as a professional BA or as someone without BA experiences, transitioning, or someone without experiences, if you're just starting out because you lack experiences, don't worry. Don't worry. Everybody you see that's an expert today started somewhere. You once a novice before you became an expert. So if you're just starting out, don't worry. There's several ways you can create meaningful portfolios. You can look at coursework that you did. If you did projects where you were taking a training, which you should. If you did project, you can write it out. Don't write it as a job experience. Write it as projects that you worked on. Okay, all of these skills are valid as long as it shows that you can demonstrate the skills that you say that you learned, even if they were for a virtual company, they're for an abstract company. It's not about what company you did it in, it's about what you solved, how you solved the problem. Okay, it's another way you can walk through your case studies is on platforms like Coursera or even LinkedIn Learning. You can take mock projects that show you that mimic real world scenarios. Now, don't forget that you can also give yourself projects. Okay, this is where AI comes in to help you. You can say, oh, I want to give me a real life case scenario, or give me a case scenario, a case problem, or a case study that I can work on as an entry level business analyst in a supply chain department, or in renewable energy, or in FMCG, e-commerce industry. It will give you something, and then you take that question, you then work in it. You work on it. Don't forget or be mindful of the fact that you don't know everything, so you have to go back to somebody who knows these things to work on. Now, another question I keep getting is: are there specific tools that you can work on or you can use to showcase your portfolio as a business analyst? And I will not give you a list because I think you want to go and research on this, depending on what you're trying to show. I mentioned earlier you can use Medium. I mentioned you can use LinkedIn. Behance is also a great way. You can use Mainstack. I see people building portfolios on Mainstack. It's like building a website. You can use MailChimp and do a landing page that just shows everything you have done. And maybe use that as a landing page and redirect people to other parts of your projects that you've worked on. You can use GitHub if you are into data analysis or web development and coding and all of that. You can use things like GitHub. You can use again tools that you use to create things like artifacts like wireframes. You can use, for instance, Miro. You can use, for instance, Whimsical. You can use Figma. So when you create your landing page on maybe Wix or MailChimp, you can then redirect it, or the markup was done on X page, so hyperlink it. So when people click on it, they can go there. You can use spaces like Squarespace. They are user-friendly platforms and they have templates you can adopt. I feel like I've said a lot at this point, and I want to bring up. Oh, Florence is here. Thank you so much, Florence. Thank you. Welcome again, Florence. I hope it's better now. I'm so sorry about that network experience. It's
Wow. Can you hear me? Good evening, everyone.
I can hear you, Florence. Thank you for coming.
Oh, thank God. Yeah, I'm so sorry that network decided to, Nigerian factor show itself.
No
Thank you
problem.
so much for giving me the opportunity to share how I transitioned into business analysis. I have a passion for, I'm a problem, I have an analytical mind, and I love to solve real world problems and deliver like practical solutions for businesses. And that really drive me made me to have that passion to always learn more, look at what works and what does not work. How do I give solutions to organizations? How do I give them analyze their businesses? How do I bring their businesses into light for them to have a clearer objective of their business? So it wasn't about switching careers for me. It was about aligning my passion for strategic problem solving with my professional goals. Basically, that's how I started my transition into business analysis. So as a program manager, I love creating systems and processes that transform businesses, but I realized that there was more I could do. I wasn't comfortable always managing programs for organization, always creating system, always running projects for them. But I said, okay, how do I? There's a lot of business, there's a lot of real world issues, and let me say, if a project manager is the head, a business analyst is the neck of that project, because a business analyst will always bridge the gap between real world issues, business needs, and IT solutions. So that's what developed my passion, that I really need to go into business analysis. And I also to understand organizational needs and deliver tailored solutions to drive what tangible results. So it was like a perfect fit for me and for my vision to create like impact, and not just locally but globally. So why business analysis? Why did I go into business analysis? It stood out for me because it's a career that bridges the gap. Like I said earlier on, it's a career that bridges the gap between business needs and IT solutions. And if you want to really go into tech, I think you should start from business analyst. Yes, if you want to really go into tech, you start from business analyst because it's something that to give you a soft landing in tech so that you could learn more. And I was opportune to be trained by an international boot camp where I showcased my skills, I showcased my expertise, and I positioned myself that this is what I wanted, and how do I get acknowledged, or how do I get a job from this course if I finish, learning this course. I positioned myself, asked questions. I did a lot of projects. When there was a live project in the boot camp, I was asking questions. I was working. I was a team player, so I was connecting the dots. So and funny enough, after the boot camp, I was among those that were retained to work on an app that is coming into Nigeria. So presently, I'm working remotely as a business analyst. We're working on an app that is coming to Nigeria to kind of substitute Facebook. So, and it has opened my eye to the real world of that there's a lot of possibilities for business analysis. Because let me tell you the truth, as a business analyst, you'll be solving daily needs, as in problem needs in an organization, even real world problems. And it's really helped me to kind of have a broader perspective. What kind of tool do I need to use? How do I manage stakeholders? How do I analyze I'm the go-to person between the IT, that the tech expert, and also the organization. So it's something that really opened my eye, and I'm grateful that I'm sharing my experience. How do we now also, and in and trying to position myself globally, I joined a lot of business analyst forums, both on Facebook and even on LinkedIn. I listened to experts. I had a mentor. Yes, like Lady B was sharing mentor. I had a mentor. I had someone that if I have issues with a project, with analyzing ABB, I'm trying to do an elicitation process. I go to the person and I said, "This is what I'm encountering. How do I go about?" So having a mentor that will guide you, and that was one mistake that I didn't take into cognizance when I started. I just dabbled into it. So I was making a lot of mistakes initially, but when I had a mentor, someone that will walk me through, I was able to now have a laser focus on what I wanted to do. So in a nutshell, business analysis and transitioning from program manager into business analysis was something that opened my eyes to a real world of possibilities and what I can do with business analysis. And I'm trying to get my certification by God's grace. I'm going to get my international certification, my CBAB in business analysis. And I also like to recommend that the BAMS Academy is somewhere you could, start your transition journey into, because I have listened to Lady B most of her session, and she knows how to simplify this concept, business analysis concept, even to a newbie, even if you don't know anything in tech. There's a way she will simplify it for you, and you're able to get a grip on it and work on it. So thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Florence. Thank you for your time. I know that I've taken a bit of your time because you did say you have to be somewhere, but I appreciate you for coming. Thank you for sharing your experience as well. I like it when other people hear people's journeys. I like it when I'm sorry about that. I like it when people hear other people's journeys, because it shows that these things are not abstract. And I go the extra mile to ensure that but some of the people that come on board to share their testimonies are not people who have been trained by BAMS. So that you know that, okay, there are other places to learn, there are other things that are happening. However, BAMS is here to simplify this learning experience for you. So thank you again, Florence, for your time. So moving on to our next agenda, we do have a conversation. I have spoken to you about how to build your portfolio, areas where you can build a portfolio on. I've spoken about key elements your portfolio should cover. I've explained why building a portfolio is important for BAs, whether you're practicing or you're not practicing. I've spoken about specific tools and platforms you can use to build your portfolio. And Halil has talked about why personal branding is critical for the market. So we're going to talk about LinkedIn optimization, and I know that there's a lot of buzz around LinkedIn, and Hala is going to take this. So there's a lot of buzz around LinkedIn. Some people think, oh, you're just there to build likes and engagement. Well, that's part of it, but that's not the ultimate goal. That's not the overall goal. The overall goal is that at the end of it all, you're able to get to give value and gain value. So, Halil, my question to you would be around LinkedIn optimization. Do you want to touch on it randomly, or should I just say how can BAs, aspiring BAs, no-code techies, anybody transitioning from a different field into a new field, how can they leverage LinkedIn as a tool for positioning? The mic is yours.
Thank you so much, Lady B. Can you confirm that you can hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Hello. Please go ahead.
All right, awesome. All right, so awesome story from Florence. It was really nice to hear that from being a program manager, you transition to become a business analyst, and hearing you speak is really pleasurable because I remember when we first met on LinkedIn, you know, there was no iota of being you, but now I can see a lot of it. Nice one, awesome. Yeah, so in landing your first job as a no-code techie, as a business analyst, depending on the category you find yourself, optimizing your brand online is very critical. Now, when I talked about personal branding, one of the spaces and one of the places you can build a personal brand is online, right? LinkedIn seems to be at the forefront of this because it's the place to meet other professionals like yourself. It's the place to get a job. Uh, It's a place to do so many things in regards to building a personal brand, right? So what am I saying? Sorry, excuse me. I think I'll do that later. All right. So what am I saying? For you to be able to position yourself or build a personal brand, you need to optimize your brand online. Because in the world that we're in currently, the only way you can do that is by controlling the perception that people have about you. The only way you can control that perception is by building a portfolio on LinkedIn, on Indeed, on Glassdoor. There are so many platforms that can help you facilitate this process. But we mostly recommend LinkedIn. LinkedIn comes highly recommended because that's where all the magic happens. Trust me, that's where it happens. Oh my, LinkedIn is an awesome place to be in. You know, I never thought. Recently, I got an app on my phone to help me reduce the amount of time I spend on applications that take my time. Right? I never knew that I would have to list LinkedIn as part of those applications because once I step into LinkedIn, it's a different world, man. It's a it's a whole different world. Like, it's a place that can get me hooked, right? And if you don't understand what I'm saying, then you need to be on LinkedIn. It's an awesome place to be. If you're passionate about career, passionate about personal branding, LinkedIn is the perfect, seamless place for you to be able to control that narrative. So back to what I was saying, if you understand what personal brand is, you understand what revamping your CV is all about. And then what's the last thing Lady B talked about? Portfolio building. Beautiful. If you understand all these things, then you need a place that can effectively house that information because that is the only thing that can help control your brand. Now, to help you further understand brand and personal branding and perceptions, the perception you can only control is the perception people have about you when you're not in the room. So the online space is the only way you can do that. So when someone goes to your LinkedIn profile, what perception do they have about you? That's the first question you need to ask yourself. Ask yourself this: what perception do I want people to have about me? That's what you do with your online profile, right? You do that with your LinkedIn, do that with your Indeed, do that with your Glassdoor, do that with so many platforms. Any platform you come across that you think that is going to help you on this journey, you do that because That is the leverage you have when you're not there, because some of the people that are going to be looking you up are not going to be they're not going to they might not have your CV, they might not have an opportunity to look through your CV. So whatsoever you put on those platforms is what they're going to leverage on in making a decision about you, right? So it's very basic. What you need to do is simple. Ask yourself, what perception do I want people to have about me? That's the first thing, right? What do I want to sell? And when I mean sell, what skills do I want to sell? Because trust me, I have a background in communications, media, and business development, right? Immediately I transitioned into business analysis, I had to downplay all those areas of my life. It's not like they were not part of me any longer. It's not like I can't do all those things again. No, but I had to leverage on those skills I had for business analysis. That means on all my online platforms, I had to start selling myself as a business analyst. It doesn't mean that I've changed. It doesn't mean that anything has changed. No, it just means that this is what I want people to know me as. When they come into my DM, I need them to know that, okay, this is what you're handling. This is what you can do. So that way, you're going to funnel opportunities regarding that perception that you're building to yourself. All of us can be on LinkedIn, but all of us are having different experiences because you're attracting a different set of audience. That's what optimization is all about. Listen, it's not that deep. If you can have this basic understanding, then you begin to understand why you need to, do a snap a professional headshot. You can do things, pampering your brand. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Can you confirm you can hear me?
you were frozen for a bit, but we can hear you now.
Oh, awesome, awesome. I think. Um, okay. All right. So, once you can have this basic understanding, then the nitty-bitty things you need to do to make sure that you control that narrative begins to come to you. So you snap a professional headshot, you do professional graphics design that summarizes what you do. And listen, this thing has to come from you. Even if you have a coach who is going to help you optimize, that coach is just going to help you discover yourself. If you can't discover yourself, no one can help you sell yourself. It's that simple. So optimization just has to do with understanding what you're bringing to the bringing to the table and putting it out there, be it on Indeed, be it on Glassdoor, be it on LinkedIn. Find yourself in those spaces and get what you want from there. Now, having yourself on all these platforms is very important. The 95 I do currently, I got it on LinkedIn, on Indeed. The previous job I got it on LinkedIn. So you can never tell where it's coming from. You can never tell. So you just have to find a way to strategically position yourself in every space that you can leverage on for your professional career. If you're used to Facebook, you're used to Instagram, well, you can use those too. But the truth is, they're not really professional platforms, so they can't give you the best. So you have to leverage on all these opportunities, right? Leverage on all these. So, Lady B, I think I think should I move to job search, or do you have anything to say regarding everything I've said?
Oh, okay. I think you can flow through into job search because you want to mention the platforms where people can use to job search. So I think you can flow into job search, and then we can start from there.
All right, beautiful. All right, now speaking of job search, the first thing I like to say is this: one of the first things you need to do if you're new to no code tech, and I'll emphasize again, when I mean no code tech, I mean business analysis, project management, product management, data analysis. If you find yourself new to this field and you want to get a job, now let me use one as a case study. For instance, let's say project management, like you just got certified as a project manager and you want to get a job. Now the first thing I think you need to do after you've done everything I've said, meaning You found yourself, you've put yourself out there, you've optimized your CV, you've optimized your online platforms. People can see you and recognize you, know you for what you do. That's perfect. But when you want to begin a job search, one of the things I think you need to do is this: leveraging on any AI skill you have available to yourself, no particular preference to one. What you need to do is take that skill you've learned, put it on AI, and ask AI, what kind of job roles can this certification or can this certification I have get me? Lady B, I think your mic is unmuted. Thank you. So, like, I repeat what I said again. You take that keyword, like for me, business analysis, for you, product management, project management. You take that keyword and you fix it in any AI tool you can find, and ask the AI to give you a plethora of different roles that you can work in with this certification. Now, what that does for you is, because you're a project manager does not mean that the only job you can do in any organization will be titled project management. No, it doesn't mean that, right? So I had to learn this the hard way, especially as a business analyst. When I got my certification newly and I wanted to start searching for jobs, I just started searching for only business analysis, and that was a challenge, right? That was a challenge because, first of all, in Nigeria, if you look at the Nigerian space, you would hardly find jobs that are strictly written business analysis. I began to realize that some call the roles systems analysis, right? Some call it systems analysis, some call it tech support. So it depends on the organization and the lingua that comes easy to them. Take, for instance, if you see a company saying they're looking for an executive assistant, in your head, that's an administrative role, right? But they just change the terminology. The same with local tech, right? As a data analyst, you can work in a plethora of positions that might not be called data analysis. The same thing with project management, the same thing with project management, the same thing with product management, the same thing with business analysis. Find Once you get that list, you now begin to optimize your job search according to that list, right? Find your job set according to that list. And what this does for you, it helps you in conversations also. So one thing I learned about getting a job is that one of the ways people overlook about getting a job is just saying, "Oh, strictly for me to get a job, I need to only apply online." No, when you have conversations with people, that's also an opportunity for you to get a job. So when you have this list, it helps you in your conversations. So when you're having a conversation with someone who you know is well placed in the industry, you say, "Oh, I just got a certification in business analysis," and the person is like, "Okay, so what can you do now?" You not begin to measure your skill. The person is not interested in your skill. What the person is interested in is, what kind of roles can you work in, right? What kind of roles can you work in? Being to say, "Oh, I can work in IT project management. I can work as a tech support. I can work as a quality tester, quality assurance tester. I can work as a business research analyst. I can work as, begin to list them. You begin to list them. Now the person's mind is open, because if you just say business analysis, is like, it's vague. If you just say project management, so if it's not project management, they can't fit you in. No, you don't limit yourself, right? So this is like the first thing you need to do. Then once you do this, for the different job platforms you'd like to use, from LinkedIn to Indeed to Glassdoor to, that there's so many, especially if you're thinking of getting remote jobs. For countries have um, job sites specific to each country for remote jobs, right? So when you find yourself in each of those platforms, you sign up and you use those keywords that you found and start your search. Use those keywords to start your search. Once you do that, you begin to have more opportunities. You begin to see more opportunities on what you can do. It opens you up. It opens you up and makes you realize that, okay, I can. These are the list of things I can do. And by the time they begin to bring up uh, references to you or suggest job roles to you, by the time you read the job description, you'd realize that these are things that I learned from business analysis. These are things I learned from data analysis. These are things I learned from whatever skills you have learned. So the title can be deceptive. It's just like when you see a role now, product lead, or product development lead. You can, as a business analyst, as a project manager, as a product manager, you can do that job. It all depends on your perspective, depends on your previous experience before transitioning, right? So don't put yourself in a box. Don't be in a hurry to do that. Don't put yourself in a box. Be quick to tell yourself, I can do this, and leverage on the skills you have gotten before transitioning into no code tech. Trust me, leverage on those experiences. And for those of you who are fresh graduates and saying, which experience do I have? Oh, Lady B, I think we need to post the link of the last session we had, because that will be very instructional to help you understand how you can leverage on the skills that you have learned in your past life, and how to transition it into no code tech. It's very, very easy. It's not that difficult. It's very easy. There is nobody that cannot be a no-code techie. Absolutely nobody. Do you understand? Lady B has shared several. She comes from an accounting background. I come from a communication background. I'm not really sure where Florence is coming from, but I knew when I knew her, she was a program manager, right? So it doesn't matter. There's no restriction. There's no restriction. In fact, recently I saw a job opening in Nigeria, and one of the requirements was you don't need to be a graduate. Yes, for business analysis, business research analyst, and data analyst. Yes, they didn't need you to be a graduate. They were like, we don't want a graduate. So do you now see how unique this is? There are so many opportunities out there. All you have to do is fix yourself into it. So once you begin to get those um right, so what else am I meant to answer? All right. So once you begin to get these applications, one thing that happens is they begin to call you for job interviews. That's beautiful. Now you need to prepare for those job interviews. One of the perfect ways to prepare for job interviews is by having a mentor. Trust me, this session is not enough for me to teach you how to get ready for a job interview. So these are just neat tidbits here and there that can help you in your job search, help you in your optimizing your online platform. And at BAMS Academy, we go deeper into all these things, and to give you a better perspective as to how you can leverage all these things to land that dream job. So I think I'm going to stop here, so I'll not give up more secrets. You join the BAMS Academy, and
Okay, you have said a
you
lot.
can learn more about all these things.
Hello. You have said a lot. Thank
Yeah.
you so much for your time. Of course, even if we go the whole day today, we're still not be enough to speak to how to job search and how to land an interview and even how to answer interview questions. That's why these are things that we do within the community, and there are things that we do for our trainers. We do them during our trainees rather. We do this during the training. So if you want to know more about how to get started, position yourself, your entire CV revamp, you want to know more about how to build a portfolio, you do want to know more about how you can answer interview questions as ABA, landing your first interview, and you get nervous and you want to know how to answer these questions. These are things that we teach you in house because we hold your hands and walk you through all of these processes. Excuse me, noise in my background. I'm just going to throw more light around the CV revamp because that is one pain point that many business analysts struggle with. And it's not just for business analysts, okay? It's one thing that many techies, many professionals struggle with building their CV. Many people keep going, okay, tweak your CV to suit the role that you're applying for. All right. But sometimes the skills I have learned before can be relevant to where I'm at right now, which is what I'm going to talk about in the CV revamp episode. Okay. As a business analyst or as a newbie on a job, there's certain components your CV must have. These are things you should know. We have transitioned from the time where you put your state of origin, your date of birth, your local government of origin, if your marital status. Nobody cares about that. I have seen people. So I recently put out an opening for a community manager at BAMS, and the series I got, I felt like okay, we need to talk about this. I sometime last year I revamped the CV of one of my friends, and I had to call her like, "Is this what you've been using to apply for jobs, and you keep saying you're not getting interviews. Nobody's going to call you with this because your CV goes to places before you get there. So if your CV is not presentable enough, you will not get to that place. So one of the things that should be on your CV is a contact information. When I say contact information, I'm not saying don't put your full house address. Security reasons. Okay? Don't go and say you live at number 1 ABC Street, Lagbaja Close, Gimiko Estate. No. You don't want your CVs go places where you don't. So anybody can come in contact with your CV. Anybody can do anything with the information that is on your CV. And I don't think you want to put out that information so publicly. Someone can pick your CV and do a prank call on you. Oh, I know you now. You live on XYZ. I heard a story of someone who was prank called. The guy had to stay in his house for a while because it was like someone was chasing him. Like he had to stay indoor. At some point, he moved out of his house. He had to like just go into hiding because they used to see it to wrap suya. Suya is grilled meat. Is it grilled or smoked meat? That's the way they do it. The Hausas do it in Nigeria, and they use the CV. Of course, your CV maybe was printed out and handed over in paper form. So they gave it a discarded it. For some reason, it ended up in the hands of people who sell suya or was it akara? Akara is bean cake fried on fire, fried and it's sold publicly. And they use this to wrap. So the person just like the entire first page of your CV had all of the information. And I think this was a resume because they could tell where your reference is Mr. So 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 so. And you know Mr. So so so. I can call him right now. And it was just so much information out there that did not need to be there. So your contact information is your email address. Put a link to your hyperlink your LinkedIn. Don't copy the whole link of your LinkedIn and paste out there. Hyperlink your LinkedIn. Put out your portfolio link. Then you want to put your location in the sense of you want to say London, United Kingdom, or you want to say Lagos, Nigeria, or you want to say Laos, Portugal. Not number 1 of this close of that. So you don't have to be specific. What your address does for your CV is let people know where you are resident. So if this role is required, maybe it's a remote role where you have to be within Africa, you have to be within Europe before you can get that role. Then you just want to know, okay, are you within here? Are you within the space? If we need you to come into the office, can you make it? That's what is required. That's why your address is required. Another thing your CV should have is a professional summary. Now, your professional summary is your first opportunity to create a strong first impression. That is the first thing people see after your contact and your name. People see your professional summary. If you don't have a professional summary, you're just starting out. It's called career objective. People want to see your career objective. So I'm just starting out. I'm just a fresh graduate. I just finished NYSC. I possibly don't have experience. So this is what I've learned. These are the skills that I have. This is where I'm looking to put in my skills. Okay, you want to now go to your skills section, which is very vital. The skills section is not where you go and put all of the things that you know. I mean, don't make it like one table. Okay, select the key points. You don't want to go there and write excellent communicator. So what does excellent communicator mean? What does proficiency in the use of Excel? What does it mean? What part of Excel? What things in Excel can you do? Then you go down to your experience, under your professional experience or working history. You write down everything that you have done. If you don't have experience, you just write there. I mean, your working history is going to be empty. But if you have volunteered, if you've interned anywhere, you want to put that under working history. Now, note when you have done virtual projects that do not relate to your, and are not related, they're not you didn't sign a contract of employment with anybody. These are just virtual internships or volunteer, not volunteer, volunteering counts as work experience. But earlier I talked about building a portfolio, and then you have not worked in an official capacity, but you have practiced what you have learned. So you just put projects. So instead of work history or experience, you just put projects, so that it tells people that okay, these are projects you have worked on, and your project is not if you've worked on 20 projects, you don't need to list all of them there. Pick 2, or maybe one that sells you very strongly. If you don't have experience, you're not expected to have a CV. You are expected to have what is called a resume, which is the one pager. So pick one, highlight the strong points, highlight what the project was about, just highlight it there, and ensure it is linked. Remember to link your portfolio so that they can go to read about it at other things that you have done. Then you want to come into your certifications and your education. Now, if your certifications are relevant, you're going to put it on top. You're going to put it at a different section before your experiences or before your skill set. If your certifications are just things that they're not certifications, they're certificate, because this is where people get to miss it. Certifications are given by professional bodies. Certificates are places where you've learned something, you've taken a training, and then they tell you, oh, you've graduated. You are being recognized as you have learned, but it's not globally recognized. Sometimes it's not even nationally recognized. Those are certificates. So you learn a course and then you don't get a certification. You get a certificate. So you can put your education and certificate after your experiences. But again, your project, if your what's it called? The role you're applying for is project related, project specific. You want to ensure your projects are on top. Now, there are several ways you can tailor your CV to suit your role, but you always advise to have a master's CV. Your master's CV can come into play when you get to a certain level in life. Maybe when you get to like mid to senior level management, and your master's CV can come into play. Otherwise, if you're just transitioning, you want to highlight things that speak to what you have learned. Okay. Now, the few mistakes that people make, and that is you being too generic. Your CV should not be one size fits all. Again, have your master CV that speaks to your career path. Then have your tailored CV, your tailored resume, 1 to 2 pages that speaks to where you are at. The CV must be able to pass through application tracking system, because that's where you notice that most of the CVs that have been rejected are rejected from the system, because recruiters use that to streamline. I'm not going to be wanting to hire 1 or 2 persons and then start manually going through 1,000 CVs. So I won't do that. So I'm going to put in a system that can help me filter out the things that I consider irrelevant based on certain keywords. Okay. You don't want to overload with jargon, because again, you want to ensure that your CV is readable by anybody. Your HR professional does not understand what JavaScript is. Your HR professional does not understand what probably doesn't understand what Visio is. So you don't want to go in with a lot of technical jargon. Just maybe put project management tools, and in brackets you can put XYZ, so that they understand, okay, this tool speaks to project management. Now your CV should be clear. Let it be organized and easy to follow. Tell a story on your CV. Don't ignore your achievement. Focus on what stood you out in each role. Use numbers, quantify your achievements, and don't forget your soft skills. Now, is there a specific format for BAs to write their CVs? You can do a traditional format. You can use a chronological format. You can use a reverse chronological format. But one thing that I advise BAs to do, which is what a mentor told me, is to use the project-based format. And to learn more about this, will give you the insights, in-depth insights in our trainings. Okay. And there's certain things that your CV should look like as a BA. I've gone through all of these, but the formatting on your CV will still have all of these 5 to 6 components I've earlier mentioned, but the formatting will be different. What you place before what will be different depending on what you are applying for. Again, it's really easy to keep your CV to 1 to 2 pages. It makes everything just really easy to look through. Because if you have to look through 5, I'm not reading an article, I'm not reading a newspaper, so I don't want to look through 5 pages to see if you qualify for the job or not. The purpose of your CV is, okay, let's have further conversations, not to tell me everything about you, then okay, you're hired. That is, you do that probably when you're going for visa application, and in some places you still need that interview where your documents have to speak for you, but your CV will not speak for you to get hired. Your CV will speak for you to see that you know enough for me to even carry on this conversation to a different level. I hope I have touched. I hope I have touched someone's answers, because I know I get people ask me this. Well, how do I position my CV? How do I rewrite my CV? I've had to rewrite CVs for people, but I think it's easier when you know how to do it than when someone does it for you. Okay, hello. Do you want to mention anything on
Yeah.
this point, because we are fast past our time?
Yeah. Yeah. All I'm just going to say is you heard what Lady B said about project-based CVs, right? That's not a topic for today. At BAMS Academy, we're going to take time to demystify this to our students. So you need to be a part of them, and that's what Lady B wants to talk about right now. So I want you to open up your ears, pop them wide open, because something is about to hit you right now. Are you ready?
I'm sorry, say that again.
I said, are you ready?
Oh, for the,
They're ready to hear you
well,
because
I'm just going to
yes,
give
they're ready
through. I'm
to
just going
hear
to
you
run through the
because
highlights again. Join the community to get insight, get
okay,
in-depth insight. So for your CV to be project
actually,
specific,
first
you
off,
can leverage AI, and that's a hack that a mentor taught me. It's not enough that you have your CV, all right, and your CV is not sending you past the application. I've been in cases where I just submitted a CV today, and then today I'm getting rejection email, and I'm like, okay, what is the problem? Because do you guys really look at? I mean, are you checking the CVs as they come? And it's very disappointing. But then I had to learn, I had to understand that these things go beyond. They go through the system before it gets to a human. So you want to beat that system, you want to hack that system, which is why you have to tailor your CV to be project specific. To be project specific means that rather than say this is where it works, these are my job duties, these are my job description, or this is what I did. You want to tailor it to suit that role. So, for instance, as a business analyst, I'm going to tailor my CV to tell a story that I worked on this in this industry as a BA. These are the major things that I did. Then your CV should be ATS compliant. ATS compliance means you're using keywords that can beat the application tracking system. When recruiters use the ATS to flush out CVs or to filter CVs, they put in certain keywords that the CVs should have. So they're telling the system, hey, if you see a CV that doesn't have 1, 2, 3 words, take it out. I'm not going to look at it. And then the system just does that. So when you move on from there, when you see that you went it to the next stage and then you are getting into the interview, that's when they now say, okay, so you told our system that you have this key point. Now prove it to me. So you don't want to go there and say, I worked at this place. You can work in one place and do 3 roles and work on 3 different projects. Don't write it as one organization, as one project. Write it as 3 different projects in one organization. So that's what it means to have a project specific CV. So I've worked in a company as a business consultant. I've worked as an investment consultant. I've worked as a, what else again can I put? Maybe customer service executive. Maybe I started with customer service and I went into business consulting. I worked on an investment. So I don't want to write on my CV that, oh, I worked as a customer service and I worked as a this. No, I'm not going to write it that way. I'm going to write it as this. I worked on this project as this. This is what I did. This is what I achieved. You're going to do that again for the business consultant. As a business consultant at this company, I worked on X, Y, and Z. I achieved X, Y, and Z within a period of time. So now we're not looking at the time. We're not looking at your time frame and your gaps. We're looking at what you have done with that time frame. I hope this makes sense. If you need us to show you an example, come into the community. The link to join the community is in the comments.
yeah,
bit.ly/BA in 1 hour, and then you will be in our community, and then we will show you hands on. We'll do it together with you on the call. That's the extra mile we go for our trainees, because we're not just about come and learn the skills or transfer your skills. We're also telling you how to get placed, how to place yourself to get started, to get your first job. Because it is our pride when we see our students going out there and making waves. It doesn't cost me, it doesn't pay me if you just keep learning and learning and learning and nobody knows that you're learning, you're not showing anything or showing anyone what you're learning. So it's be a part of our community, bit.ly/BA in 1 hour. Because I promise you, during our sessions, our 1 hour sessions every week like this, you get to know new skills, you get to hack better, you get better hacks, you learn better about what it means to be a business analyst. And we expand into other no-code tech fields like data analysis, product management, project management, etc. So hello, do you want to speak to anything here? Oh hi, let me say hi to some of our audience. Hello, Zuria from Uganda. Zuria is one of my favorite LinkedIn creators. I met her on LinkedIn, established good relationship on LinkedIn. She's a storytelling queen. If you read Zuria stories, you will be hooked, you'll be glued there. I learned how to write stories from her. So if you look to story. Please speak to Victoria. Hi, Manuela from Ghana. Manuela is also one of the contacts I met on LinkedIn. I love her content a lot. And Chinechere, this is one VA that stands out for me. It's There's something about her profile when she rebranded. I was like, okay, this girl don't enter my eye. This girl's getting into my eyes. But Chinechere is an excellent virtual assistant. Thank you for joining us, Chinechere. And this is Dr. Bernice from Ghana. Dr. Bernice is one of the
Okay,
medicals I have on
nice.
my LinkedIn Connect. She's second to Dr. Vivian and Pharmacist Okwe. They're people that I enjoy reading their content and learning about them. Um, okay, I see a hello from Curtis Praise. Curtis Praise is also one of the
Yeah.
small new friends I have on LinkedIn. I say small friends, but she's not small. And Curtis is Praise is the community manager for BAMS Academy. Thank you for joining us. Hello, Rita Monday. I see you. Thank you for joining us from Abuja. And Fortuna. Fortuna is one of those contacts that LinkedIn gave me, particularly through the Phoenix Gate. And I'm very conscious and being very mindful of that relationship because that's something that I want to build. Okay, so those are the comments that I can see on my end. Hello, let's bring this to a close because we are far spent. We are far beyond our time. I do
Yeah.
want to say to everyone
Yeah,
for
we can.
joining us and for forgiving our inconsistency. We had a technical glitch and it sort of threw us off balance. I'm somewhat of a perfectionist. I put in so much effort to ensure that things just go as I should, but again, learn to have a plan B and plan C. That's what being a BA taught me. You're going to have to learn to have options because you can just life will just life. It's just gonna life. Hello, do you want to give us parting words before we exit today? And then we tell them how to come into our community. And again,
All right. The last thing I'm just going to say is this one thing that's really helped me to land my first BA job was determination. Like when I finished my certification in business analysis, my first certification in business analysis, I gave myself a timeline and I told myself that, you know what, I need to get a job in XYZ amount of time. And I put in everything. I did research, found out things. Everything I shared with you today, I learned a bit from some people, but I had to do research. I had to learn so many of those things on my own. And what I want to say is be determined. Everything we've said here today, if you don't act on them, you're not going to see any results. And don't feel pressured and say, oh, because they've said it, I have to do everything this week. No, it takes time. Like optimizing my LinkedIn to what it is today didn't happen in one day. It took time. So take time to do what you need to do to get the results you want to get. So that's going to be my parting words. I think at this juncture, it would be we need to call in the
all right. Thank you
harvest.
so much, Halel. And we're talking about our trainers and our trainees. And I see a comment that says, "How do we? What's your training about?" Right. So our trainings are starting next week, February 1st to be precise. We train business
Yeah.
analysts in the simplest of ways. We teach you business analysis. We coach you. I don't like to use the word teach. I like to say coaching because for me it goes beyond just teaching. We have to bring it home to a place where you can understand as a 5 year old. And if you can understand it as a 5 year old, you can sell it to someone else as a 5 year old. Then you have good understanding. And then we flow in that. So the BA, the starter class starts in February. Then we have the intermediate class where we now go in depth into tools and serious technology. Technicalities of the profession. And that one is starting on 1st of March. Okay. So we also have data analysis for those of you who might be interested. Data analysis is starting on the 3rd of February. It runs for a period of 3 months. We have the Excel and SQL. We have the sorry, Excel and Power BI. We have SQL only, and then we have a combination of both. So the prices are on our website, and I'm just going to drop the website in the comment. It's the BIT link. The website is still being built. So um, okay, let me just confirm that again because I have it. I just Again, our first class is starting. No, this is not it. This is not what I'm looking for. Just give me a minute to get that name out. I thought I had it, but obviously not. Yes,
Maybe uh, there's something there's something on the sideline. You can you bring that on stage? Maybe that will help us to drive it.
okay, this. So this is the link to come into the community. I want to get the link to
N-
go that takes.
No. I'm trying to share my screen.
Oh, okay, sure. Try sharing your screen. Look like you're frozen.
Yes, I
Oh,
am. No, I'm here.
okay, no, wasn't sure. All right.
Excellent.
Okay, so this is for cohort.
So you can just
Yeah, this is seller.co/slash OS7777. Hi, don't worry, Praise doesn't have it. Let me just send it forth. But you know what? Just come into the community. I can't find where I pasted that link right. Oh my god. Just come into the community
let me
with the
send it.
bit.ly link, and then we will have that. We'll share the link with you to get started. So again, classes are starting next week. Next week Saturday. So by this time next week, we'll have our first set of classes, and it's going for 70,000 naira for the beginners course. However, we're giving a 20% discount to people within the community. Okay, again, that's why I say come into the community, because there's more that happens in the community that's not being put out here for public consumption. The intermediate class goes for 100,000, 100,000 naira and $40. Sorry, $55. And again, starting on 1st of March, come to the community, you get 20% discount. We'll give you the code through which you get a 20% discount. And the blended class, which takes you from both beginners into intermediate class, is going for 150,000 naira as it's $5. And again, there's a 20% discount valid for those in the community. So again, come home and we will teach you how to fish. All right. So I think with this, we can bring this session to a close. Thank you for your time. Thank you for staying with us. Very grateful.
Yeah.
We appreciate your
Thank you.
presence. And we hope to see you again next week. So next week we do have another session. Even though classes are starting next week, we will still have a session. So stay in touch. Follow me, turn and follow at Elizabeth Akenmo Lady B on LinkedIn. I'm doing Lady B across board, so you can find me. Um, Lady B across board, Instagram, on X, on LinkedIn, on YouTube. Just Lady B, BHI is the B. Okay. Follow Hello Rain. That's the only IT business analyst, you know. I don't know what I am for. Thank you for joining us today. Enjoy the rest of your evening.
Thank you,
Toodles.
everyone. Thank you for joining us. Yep.